Hello, thank you for watching this video. My name's Simon and I'm back here today to talk about another album. That album being the 2002 release from Desaparecidos called Read Music, Speak Spanish. If you're not familiar with the band, they're fronted by Conor of Bright Eyes fame, later of the Mystic Valley Band, and then off his own solo material. It comprises of sort of friends and family from his native Omaha, Nebraska. It can be described as a punk record, just a rock record, and it does also touch on some. When I say emo, I'm not referring to the sort of commercialized mid 2000s version, but perhaps a darker Jimmy Eat World style vibe is what I get from this, with my limited knowledge of that scene. The version that I've got here, I believe it might be a European release, or perhaps the international release, as the track listing is slightly different to the version that's on Spotify and what I assume was the US release, in that track 1 is What's New for Fall. This is a song all about basically lending yourself out to be a mannequin and be dressed up so that you're meeting the fashion needs of what you think other people want from you. It's a fun song. I've always had a soft spot for this since the first time I heard it. It was a great introduction to the band, and hearing this song is what made me think, right, I want to listen to the rest of this. I was a fan of Bright Eyes beforehand, and after hearing that, it certainly offered a fun, energetic sound that maybe is not all that prominent in other Bright Eyes material. So after hearing this, I was definitely in for the ride. We then went into track 2, or track 1, depending what country you're in, and that's Man and Wife, the Former, open brackets, financial planning, close brackets. This is basically a love story. I say a love story, it's not the most hopeful or happy love story, but it's all about strapping in to basically accept the challenges that come with entering a relationship in your early 20s, as the band would have been at the time. Basically being prepared to cover certain things, be prepared to pick up the bill. One of the most powerful lyrics is, if you want to make a run for it, my love, I'll cover you. And that's certainly a departure from perhaps some of the more adolescent-ish early Bright Eyes lyrics, in that it's much more grounded in reality. Might be a bit harsh. It's a bit more grounded. It's not as profound. It's basically, we're going to get some money out of somewhere to keep us going, and that in itself is powerful, as I don't think there are many people that can relate to that, unless you're insanely rich, but okay, good for you. Then we go on to Mañana, which is a blistering and aggressive song. This was a really good song to watch them perform live in their set list. I did see the band in 2013. It was a bit of an overwhelming experience in the first place, because I did really love this band, and due to their sort of limited activity since they even released any music, it was quite fun to get to see them live. And this song was, I remember this just being a song where I thought, this is great to just have this band play loud in front of me and just blast my ears off. So that was a lot of fun. We went into Greater Omaha after that, and it's quite a busy song. It's all just about what's happening to the city, the overtaking of capitalism, just the overall capitalistic nature, really. When a small town has the chains come in, digs everything out, and a big sort of mall pops up. I mean, it's something that most people can relate to. From the place that I live, due to sort of lack of employment, as it were, that's certainly something that's welcomed by my community, is the fact when more shops open up, it does bring people in, it's got more people spending money. It doesn't mean that we have to go 30 minutes in the car down the road just to go to some decent shops. It means that they are here. So I guess this is maybe, it's not something that an older listener could get behind, perhaps. Maybe it is for the idealistic teenager who thinks, right, these are ruining our small shops. Overall, worldwide, I don't think it translates, but it's certainly rooted in good intention, is what I will say. We then go into man and wife, the latter. So we've heard man and wife, the former. This is the more depressing breakdown of the relationship itself. The partner who does not look up from the computer. Conor Oberst, as he sings, he contemplates the fact that he would like to grow out his hair to back when he was single, and then refers to the hair being longer than he'd known his partner, which is an interesting line. It's a bit of a bummer, really, but it touches on a real theme for a lot of people. Perhaps when they do enter a relationship with certain expectations, and that just doesn't play out the way that they expected. We then go into Mall of America, which it's back to the rage of capitalism, basically. There are no art forms now, just capitalism is one of the lines from Conor here. The way that he sings capitalism it's a marvel, really. That's one of the best bits of the song for me. Conor also reflects on the career move that he made to do this album, which is certainly true. They say it's murder to your folk career to make a rock record with the Disappeared. And it's certainly a move that I'm really happy that he made, because even though I do like a lot of the Bright Eyes back catalogue, this album, it just holds a different place for me, in that I don't typically listen to folk music, if you want to call it that. Although Conor doesn't necessarily sit with a lot of bands of that ilk, I think the aggressiveness of this one and that just plug in and play vibe of the five members just puts it in a different place for me. After that one, we go into The Happiest Place on Earth, which is a state on what Conor's thoughts are to be American at the time. Obviously, February 2002. Is there a possibility these songs could have been written around the time of 9/11? Certainly a time that I'm sure many Americans would think were having a bit of a. I don't want to downplay the seriousness of it. Just saying that they were having a bit of a think. But I mean, living in the UK right now, this is 2019. The culture is at the forefront of our news every day. What with Brexit, etc. So I think when there is a bit of a sort of crisis and an attack on your country, and then an examination of what your country actually is, this is what comes out of them thoughts. We then go into Survival of the Fittest / It's a Jungle Out There. The opening verse is sung by the bassist Landon Hedges of the band, who also has his own band, Little Brazil, I believe they're called. And it's a nice change to have another voice in the mix there for a start. And the song, it offers a bit more variety. One of the lines, he hides in his suit like a snake in the grass. Again, it's another attack on that corporate image. And again, the album does certainly have this theme of an attack on this culture. Again, more of the same there. It's a ballad, really. It's a ballad on the vultures of America. We then go into the song called Dollar, 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 Dollar. I'm not sure if they want to refer to that as something else. But it's the opening of the tracks opens up with some sort of commercial language. I think you're going to like this. You're going to love this. Someone trying to sell you something, basically. This song is a bit of a statement in that one of the lines, I'm overflowing with ambition, but I gotta keep in mind the dollar sign. Where it's a song, it's about tempering what you can produce, because overall, keeping in mind what you're doing, what your output for is largely based on money. Slightly very depressing depending on how you want to look at it. Obviously, Conor's not someone that's always done stuff monetarily, because his overall output doesn't necessarily scream money necessarily. So yeah, but then at the same time, he is appealing to a certain demographic who are going to buy his things and go to his shows. So largely, it's about being self-aware. Yeah, self-awareness is something that's definitely prominent in this album, and there's definitely a balance of attacking something that you think you hate, but then also being well aware of where you play a part in it. And then we go into Hole in One, which is, I think it's probably, could it be the most fun, potentially the most exciting song on the album. One of the lines, adolescence made her an activist. Now she's the one who does all the lecturing. Obviously referring to some girl, she's 18, she's got ideas, she's going to change the world, and now she's the one that's telling us how we do that. Whether that be a lecturer in a university or whether it's someone that just thinks that they know best. I'm sure that we can all sort of think of someone like that we know. Someone that clearly had the goodwill and intention, individuality, and thought that they were unique, and now they just think that they can do the talking for you rather than you be the one sharing your views. So yeah, that's another interesting song there. Some of the lines in there, such as "You emptied your heart to fill your bank account." Conor wrestles with how he chooses to preach these words. And he states that never mind the shit that he sings about because he'd rather buy a fucking house. Which is just a perfect line in the final song of this album. And then that was it. That was it from the band album-wise until 2015, where they released Payola after a short run of live gigs in 2013, as well as a couple of like benefit things, I believe around 2009, 2011 time maybe, for which was I believe it was to commemorate a member of Conor's family there. And Ian, the keyboardist, I believe the two are maybe cousins from what I know. So yeah, this album, it's since the first time I heard it, as I was getting into Bright Eyes, it's never been too far away from being played. It's always whether I've got a couple of songs from it in a playlist or whether I just want amping up. It's for me, it is timeless. And although the subject matter, do I really want to listen to an attack on American culture from 2002? Do I want to hear capitalism get ragged on when in 2019 you've basically got thousands of sort of YouTube outlets of people that think that they're offering a new perspective when really they're not? Was this a new perspective at the time? No, it wasn't. But what is new is the fact that it's so self-aware, and it does wrestle with them contrasting ideas, in that Conor is always accepting of what it is that he actually does that may make him a hypocrite, or does in fact make him a hypocrite. And I do believe that is to be applauded. As for this album, I would highly recommend listening to it if you're not familiar with it. And if you are familiar with this and you have listened to me talk, thank you very much. I hope that this has given you... I don't really know. I don't really know what it's given you, other than just the fact that I believe that it is worth that listen. The album on a whole, I do believe that it works quite well listening from top to bottom. If you do buy the CD itself, it's got some nice artwork here. It's also got the lyrics in the CD as well, if you did want to have a little gander of that also. For me personally, where does it sit with Conor's material? I'd certainly, although this is the album of his that I do listen to the most, I can't in good faith really say that it's a better album than I'm Wide Awake This Morning, due to just sort of the overall beauty of that album, really, and the ambition of it. This is 5 guys that formed a band and releasing it quickly and then disappeared. And that does lend itself to maybe my preferences in a way, in that it's clearly not overproduced. It's a get in and get out approach, which I really like. And for me, I would rank this as my second favourite album of Conor Oberst, just behind I'm Wide Awake It's Morning, and would highly recommend listening to it if you have not done. Thank you.